Picking a good niche will play a huge factor on how successful your agency will be. This is not something you should overlook. It's not something that you should just watch a YouTube video of some guy who says, this is my top 5 list of best niches, and you pick one and then you just start working with them. You have to put a bit more time and effort, lots of research, and really see, is this niche going to respond well to my marketing services? Alright, so in today's video, I'm going to go over exactly how to pick a good niche, a couple of rules that I follow when it comes to assigning niches to the mentoring students that I have. And also at the end of the video, I'll go over a huge list of the niches that I always suggest to make. The niches in this list have been essentially proven to work. I have a bunch of people who are super successful in it, easy to get clients in the growing market. It's basically everything that you would dream for. But again, towards the end of the video, I'll share that list with you. So as I mentioned, here we're going to start off by how to pick your niche. First of all, what's a niche? You guys probably know it, but just to be sure, a niche is a segment of the market. All right, instead of targeting the entire industry, all of the businesses out there, we decide to focus our energy on one specific type of business. Now, why do we want to do this? When you pick a niche, you can almost see it as a person being like a generalist versus a specialist. One example I like to use often with my students is like when you go to the doctor. All right, there's specific types of doctors for every specific body part, or types of surgeries or types of practices. If you, let's say, were suffering from a, heart problem, would you go to a dermatologist or a general doctor? The obvious answer is no. You would go to someone who specializes with everything that's related to the heart. And you can kind of see the niche market, the whole agency space, as the same way. Why would, let's say, a gym owner work with someone who works with every single type of business when there's another agency who only works with gym owners? I think it's pretty obvious that that second agency is going to be a better fit for that gym owner. And that's sort of the way we have to see it. So as I mentioned, there's two types of people out there. All right, so there's the general. They have no niche. All right, they don't niche down because they believe that if I open my doors to everyone, I'll have more opportunity to get more clients. So they work with everyone. When it comes to claiming retainers, they struggle to get well-paid retainers because people view them as a generalist, not a specialist. People are not willing to pay as much for someone who works with everyone versus someone who specializes specifically for their needs and their type of business. So when it comes to retainer, often enough, they don't get as much money as a specialist. And lastly, probably the most important one is when it comes to their operations. Okay, their operations are a shamble because they have to tweak their approach for every new client. All right, so because if they work with a plumber and then they work with a dentist, even though they still might be offering the same service, let's say Facebook ads, the service delivery in itself will be different. So it's going to be a lot difficult to scale their operations. Now, when it comes to the specialist, when it comes to their niche, they pick a niche realizing that they'll make more money and also they'll deliver the results a lot easier by focusing with one specific niche. Second of all, when it comes to the retainer, they're able to command strong fees because they're niche specific. They speak the language of the owner and they have specific case studies related to their niche. All right, so it's a lot easier for them to justify and kind of prove themselves to be an expert in the industry. And when it comes to their operation, every time they get a new client, it's just copy paste into a system that has been proven to work. All right, it's a lot easier to work with multiple gym owners. And you're like, okay, I know that this specific type of marketing or service delivery works super well with gym owners. When I get my second client, I'll just do the same thing. All right, you cannot do that if you work with 20 different niches. All right, so it's very important to pick a niche. You have to become a specialist. The rule of 3. All right, this is sort of what I teach in my mentorship program. I tell people if your niche follow these 3 rules, you're going to be good to go. So rule number 1, they have to be selling a high ticket service or product. Why? It's going to be a lot easier for us to charge high ticket if we're making our clients a lot of money by selling a service that's super expensive. Number 2, short sales cycle. You might be selling something that's super expensive to your client, but if it takes 12 months to actually get paid, if it takes 12 months for the client to get paid, then it's going to be very difficult to get a retainer if you're working on a performance base, which is often enough what I recommend. So the shorter the sales cycle, the better. Lastly, you want it to be in a growing market. All right, you don't want to work with a niche that is kind of dying down and no one wants to work with, and it's just difficult to get them leads. You're basically shooting yourself in the foot if you're working with a business that's not on the rise. Now, As I mentioned, the part that probably everyone was waiting for, here is a list of the niches that I believe to be, still very valid. Obviously, when it comes to picking a niche, if there's a niche that you're already familiar with, maybe you've worked in it in the past, or you've studied in that industry, or you have a parent that works in there, I think even if it's not on a list, by all means, you go 100% in that niche. All right, just having the knowledge it cuts the learning curve in half. Okay, but that being said, if you're starting from zero and you have no idea what to do, here's the list. So we have interior designers, flooring, roofing, solar, painting, landscaping, home remodelers, plumbers, body shops, HVAC, movers, paving, pest control, mobile detailing, junk removal, eye surgery, hair transplant, high-ticket coaches, high-end furniture stores, deck building, and towing companies. All right, these are niches that I've sort of suggested to multiple of my clients, especially when they come to me and they say, Oliver, I have no idea who to work with. I give them this list. I'm like, pick one and you will make money, and it has been working over and over. All right, just make sure you don't restrict yourself to just doing Facebook ads. Really offer a complete service delivery, which is what I always teach. And if you pick one of these niches, you should be good to go. I will not be worried for you. As I mentioned, many people that I've mentored are in these niches, and I know it works very well. Right, it's all about having a good service delivery, a good offer, and honestly, the rest is just hard work.